Hello and welcome to class 8 of the Prenatal Yoga series, 20 weeks to term. 27 weeks pregnant this week. This week we'll be moving in a way that energizes the body. That doesn't translate to overexertion to increase energy. It translates to moving in a way that feels really good for the body and also using the breath to increase energy. So we'll get started. I've got an extra cushion with me today. At the end of class, I like to have one on my side, a pillow in between my legs, and then one underneath my head. So if you're that way inclined, then grab those props that you need. Also, any blocks that you use, totally welcome. Otherwise, you'll find your comfy seat. Some people feel more comfortable to sit on a cushion, to have their hips elevated above the knees. It can feel nicer on the lower back. You can do this just on the floor, or you can also do it against the wall. Otherwise, if you're comfy on the floor, that's where I'm going to stay. So finding your comfy seat. And once you've found your comfy seat, invitation to close down the eyes or just gently rest your gaze on the floor in front of you. And we'll start to just check in with the natural breath. It's a really great place to start. So checking in with your breath. Just noticing what you notice. And the nature of your breath is really a guide to your state of mind. If you're feeling relaxed, your breathing might be a bit more rhythmic. If you're feeling perhaps a bit restless or anxious, your breathing might be a bit more shallow or unsteady. There's no right or wrong. Just noticing what you notice. Just for a few more rounds of breath. And as you feel your breath in your body, know that there's energy within this. And we're going to draw on this to move with energy. We'll start now to practice one-to-one breathing. So that's even length of in-breaths to out-breaths. I like to breathe in to a count of 4, but you are welcome to breathe in for less than this or more than this. One-to-one breathing. And we'll just do this for a few more rounds, even in and out breaths. Wherever you are in your cycle of breathing, We'll exhale together, and then we'll block the left nostril and we'll just breathe in and out 1 to 1 through the right. The right nostril, it's connected to an energy channel which represents physical energy and body, and it increases pranic energy. So prana stands for life force, and you know that when we breathe there's that energy within this, and there are many different forms of breathing exercises that help control the flow of prana. And breathing through the right nostril helps rejuvenate and energize the body. So we'll keep going with this, 1 to 1, even in and out breaths. Just in and out through the right nostril. We'll go for a few more rounds here. We'll take one more full in and out breath through the right nostril. And then just breathing normally in and out through both nostrils. And you can start to do some shoulder rolls. Forward and back. On our next in-breath, we'll slowly shrug the shoulders up, really deep inhale. On the exhale, we'll quick release the breath and the shoulders drop. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, nice and slow shrug. Last time. Beautiful. And then hands to the knees. We'll do some pelvic circles. So you can start clockwise or anti-clockwise. We will move both ways. I'm going to start anti-clockwise. So we go back, forward, right to left, and back, left to right. And drawing circles in the direction that you're going. So just making these circles as little or as big as feels good for you, and breathing in a way that feels good. We'll go one more in the direction we're going in, and then we'll change the other direction. That's clockwise for me, left to right, and back, right to left. Drawing circles in the direction you're going in. And moving in a way, big or small, that feels good. Staying connected with your breath, using your breath as an anchor to the here and now, an anchor to this movement practice. Go a few more rounds in this direction. And then we'll just start to slow that down. And we'll bring our legs out in front of us. So in just a seat with the legs straight. You can have the hands behind your back, which might feel a little bit nicer, but otherwise from anywhere from your side to behind you, keeping the spine nice and straight. And we'll just start to flex the toes back towards your nose and extend the feet, point the toes. And really feeling into this movement, feeling how the backs of the legs feel as you flex your toes towards your nose, and then feel how the front of the legs feel, ankles feel when you extend. And then we can add some breath. So there's no right or wrong. I'm going to breathe in to flex and out to extend. We'll do 5 more rounds of this. Do 1 more round. Little wriggle of the legs. Then we'll bring the left leg in, so bending the left knee, the left heel into just as high as you can. And then the right hand can hold on to that left ankle or foot, or whatever feels good for you. And then the left hand will come onto your left knee. And we'll just start to do some gentle circles. So lifting that knee off the floor and doing some gentle circles. One direction. We'll go about 5 times each direction. So we'll swap that when you've done 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll bring that foot now flat on your mat. We'll do a nice open twist. So the left hand comes to the outside of your right leg and the right hand behind your back. We'll take 2 rounds of nice deep breaths here. And then we'll bring both feet together for our butterfly pose. Interlace the fingers, hands underneath the feet. Feet press into hands, hands pull against feet. So you're really lengthening your spine as you lengthen the knees towards the ground. And you can stay here in this stillness in motion in stillness. We're doing actions, but we're staying still. Otherwise, you have the option to move a little bit. So you can flutter your knees like butterfly wings. Just one more round of breath. And then we'll leave the right knee bent and we'll get the left leg come out nice and long. It'll be the left hand to the left foot or ankle. Might feel nicer to hold your foot. And then the right hand to your right knee, and we'll start to do circles in one direction 5 times. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. We'll bring our that foot flat to the floor, and then that open twist. Right hand to wherever it feels comfy on your left leg. Left hand behind you. Open your chest. Two deep rounds of breath. Excuse me. And we'll bring our legs now open to a wide-legged pose. And then just an opportunity just to, again, flex and extend your feet or do some circles here. And we'll start by bringing the hands behind us. Just really kind of lengthen the spine, the crown of the head, open the chest. Take just one round of breath here. Nice deep inhale and a full exhale breath. And then we'll see how it feels to bring the hands in front. And as our pregnancy progresses, this becomes easier as our ligaments soften. So you might have your hands on the floor, or you might, I don't think I'm going to get there, forearms to the floor. And again, focusing on creating a long spine. And then we'll take one full big breath in and a full breath out. And then we'll come into another favorite of mine, stirring the pot or churning the mill. Again, you modify this to suit your body, to suit what feels good for you. So we'll go about 5 times in one direction and about 5 times in another direction. So interlacing the fingers, I'll show you first if you haven't done this with me. I'm going to go clockwise first. So we go left to right, forward, and then we go back as we kind of bring our spoon in, and then we stir, and we keep going like this. So when you're ready, you can begin. Some people like to exhale as they come forward and inhale on the way back. But some people like to go quick, so they're just breathing how it feels good. And some people like to move a bit more slower. So we'll go one more on this side. And then we'll go the other direction. So for me, that's anti-clockwise, right to left. And then leaning back, bringing the spoon into your chest. Do one more where you are. This is a really good one to tone the waist. The hips and the spine become more kind of loose with this one as you practice. All right, hands behind your back. And we'll just do a few windscreen wipers with the legs nice and wide. internal and external rotation of the hip. And again, coming back to your breath. And then when you're ready, you'll make your way onto your hands and knees. So it'll be the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips in a tabletop position. And we'll just kind of set up this shape. So the hands are nice and pressed on the floor. The fingers are spread. So not just the palms pressing, but also the knuckles pressing. As you press, broaden your chest. And you'll lengthen the crown of the head forward. To kind of test that you're engaged in this shape, feel free to move with me. We're going to press our tops of the feet into the floor and just hover the knees just for a moment and back down. We'll do this 2 more times, otherwise just staying in tabletop position. And then we'll start to do some happy and angry cat. And as we progress in our pregnancy, it is a recommendation to kind of avoid this happy cat position. If you'd like to do it, be my guest. But otherwise, I'll speak to in tabletop, really just focusing on lengthening the tailbone back, the crown of the head forward, and broadening your chest. That's your inhale breath. And the exhale, you tuck the pelvis, tuck the chin into your chest, really round your spine. So a neutral spine, broaden your chest, length, 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 tailbone back, and the exhale breath round, tuck. Continue with this. We'll do 1 more round of happy and angry cat. And then we'll, invitation to do some, I guess, pelvic rocking in this kind of position that we're in. So you can stretch all the way back and come forward. And you might kind of just stick with this movement. Otherwise, you can draw circles. So maybe left to right, coming forward and then back. And bending in your elbows, kind of doing whatever you need to do, whatever feels good. So if you're going one direction, make sure you do mix it up. Maybe you go alternate directions. So it's a little bit free movement here, just whatever feels good for you. Taking your knees as wide as you need, enjoying the movements, enjoying your breath. We'll take 1 more round of breath. And then we'll just come off our hands for a moment, doing some wrist circles, remembering to always go the other direction. And then we'll come back to our hands and knees. And we'll bring our right foot to where our right hand is. And we'll set up this position here. If you do find in this position that the back knee is a bit sore, that's another great opportunity to use like a flat cushion, or if you have a knee, some people buy those kind of knee pads for movement classes. The right knee as wide as you need, and we'll start to set this up. So if it's touching the floor, the magic rule is that we press to engage. So ground down through all 4 corners of the front foot. Really press down through the top of the back foot. Draw the front heel towards the back knee, vice versa. Keep the press. And then you can squeeze on your left glute. Now we're in a position where we can have a little bit of free movement with our upper body. So moving in a way that feels good. Using your breath. Free movement can feel funny, as I've said before, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. So don't worry about how you look. Just kind of invite movement and see what happens. There's no right or wrong. Yeah. You can only do good in my eyes. Just a couple more breaths here. Now keeping the press of the limbs down, we'll reach the arms up on an inhale. Left arm forward, right arm back, breathe out. We'll do a reverse here, but it's a revolved reverse. So we'll lift the left arm up and then the right hand can just reach down towards the floor, or you might like to reach it over to your left thigh, the bent knee thigh. And then we'll windmill the arms all the way open. So the right arm's forward and the left arm is back. We'll continue to add breath with this. Arms reach up, inhale. Left arm forward, right arm back, breathe out. Revolve, flip, reverse. Lengthen, arm up. Continue that circle to open your arms, right arm forward, left arm back. That's the exhale breath. One more time. Arms up, inhale. Water wheel, left arm forward, right arm back, breathe out. Flip and reverse, inhale. Continue to open your arms, breathe out. Beautiful. Hands back to the floor and we come back to a tabletop position. You can just move your hips side to side. I find all of these movements kind of on my hands and knees and moving forward just feels so good in my body. I don't know about you. I'd love to hear in the comments. All right, when you're ready, left foot will step to where the left hand is and you'll come up. Magic rule, golden rule. If it's touching the floor, it's pressing down. Ground down through all four corners of your left foot. And then the back foot pressing down. Top of the foot presses into your mat. That sensation of dragging the mat together underneath to really light up the inner seam of your leg. And you can even imagine hugging your hips towards one another. That will help line up the outer seam of your leg. And you can squeeze on your right glute. You can lengthen the size of your waist, and then we're ready to do some free movement. Again, there's no right or wrong. Sometimes we ask our body what we want and need, and we just have no idea. I have no idea today. So I'm just kind of doing whatever, and as I move, I'm like, oh yeah, that feels pretty good, or nah, I'll try something else. So no right, no wrong. Be with your breath. A few more rounds of breath here. All right, we'll take the arms up on an inhale breath. This time will be the right arm forward, left arm back, breathe out. Continue to breathe normally. We'll do that revolve, flip, reverse. So the right arm just lifts up and the back arm can reach down towards the mat or go to tap the opposite or the knee that's bent on the floor, that leg, so the thigh. And then we'll continue this opening. So it'll be the left arm forward and the right arm back. Arms reach up, inhale. Water wheel, right arm forward, left arm back, breathe out. Flip reverse, inhale. Continue to open, breathe out. Arms up, inhale. Water wheel, right arm forward. Flip reverse, revolved. Continue the windmill, open, breathe out. One more for good measure. Arms reach up, inhale. Right arm forward, left arm back. Revolve, flip, and continue open. Beautiful. Hands to the top of your mat. We come into our first downward facing dog. So tuck the toes, lift the knees and the hips. And listening to your body here. If it doesn't feel great, then just come back to a tabletop position. Otherwise, hands spread shoulder width or wider. Spread your fingers. Press through palms, your knuckles. Generous bend in your knees. As you press your hands into the floor, you lengthen through the arm bones, all the way up through your tailbone. And that bending off of the knees just helps take pressure out of your lower back. Yeah. And then here you might like to take stillness or some free movements, pedaling of the legs where you're bending the knees and the heels come towards the floor. You might take it a bit sideways like you're wagging your tail. Got 2 more rounds of breath here. Then we'll step our feet to our hands. And once we get there, take a halfway lift. So the hands, however high they need to be on your body, on your legs. And we'll forward fold, breathe out. We'll do this 2 more times. Halfway lift, hands to shins or higher. Really lengthen your spine and lower, breathe out. Last time, halfway lift, broaden your chest, crown of head length and lower. And this is where we'll stay low, so you can take your feet wide. If you find that you're getting a bit dizzy, please come to kneeling or standing. You can grab opposite elbows and place them just on your thighs, so your head's not down as low. Please remember you are your own teacher, so if something doesn't feel right in your body, specifically if you feel lightheaded, dizzy, please move away from this shape. You've got 3 rounds of breath in this position, so really we're just aiming here to let the head hang and be with our breath. Got 1 more big breath in and a full breath out. We'll press through the feet, arms up, reach up, a big breath in. Hands to heart, breathe out. Arms reach up, inhale. Hands to heart, breathe out. Last time like this, arms reach up, inhale. Hands to heart. Arms reach up, a big breath in. Keep your arms there. We'll come into a chair pose. Breathe out. And you can keep your chair as high as you need, or if you want to work harder, as low as you need. This one really tones your legs, your butt, your back. Really good pose. And then just kind of feeling where the weight is sitting more in your feet. So if you're really in your toes, then maybe bring the weight back a little bit. You want to feel nice and even. Stay with your breath. Helps you come inward one more round. Press through the feet, arms up, reach up, a big breath in. Forward fold, breathe out. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Downward facing dog, breathe out. So if you're skipping downward facing dog, then you can stay in that halfway lift position, and you simply step your left leg back. We'll come into a warrior one position in a moment. We'll lift the right leg up to the sky, big breath in. Knee to nose, heel to your butt, tiger curl, round your spine to step. We'll come into a crescent lunge position. So if you're on the ball of your foot and this feels really ungrounding for you, then you can come into a warrior one position where the foot is flat on the floor and you won't be as more forward, you'll be maybe a little more off to the side. All right, if you're in crescent lunge, squeeze your left glute. You're pressing down, locking in. We're reaching our arms up. Just 2 rounds of breath here. You're adjusting your shape to increase kind of the strength of this shape, to feel more supported in your body. All right, energize your fingertips, inhale. Water will left arm forward, right arm back, breathe out. We'll flip and reverse, revolved, and continue to open for your breath out. We'll take 2 rounds of breath here. Broaden your front knee. Normal flip reverse. You can straighten your front leg if it feels good. Enjoy a nice side stretch here. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. We'll be the left leg up to the sky, big breath in. Heel to butt, knee to nose, tiger curl, more forward than you think to step. Crescent lunge or warrior one. And then again, how can you feel more stable in this shape? Can you press down a little more? Maybe draw your hips in, hips hugging towards one another. Squeeze your right glute. Now we'll add our flow arms. Energize your fingertips, inhale. Water wheel, right arm forward, left arm back, breathe out. Revolve, flip, reverse, inhale. Keep windmilling the arms, warrior two, breathe out. 2 rounds of breath here. Keep the front knee nice and broad. Ground down through the outer edge of the back foot. Really feel a beautiful stretch across your chest as you extend your fingertips in opposite directions. On your next breath in, flip, reverse, straight leg if you like. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Once you get there, full in and out breath. One more time, right leg up to the sky, big breath in. Knee to nose, tiger curl to step. Crescent lunge, inhale. Water wheel, left arm forward, right arm back. Revolve, flip. Keep circling the arms, warrior two, breathe out. Flip, reverse, inhale. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. A full breath in and a full breath out. Left leg up to the sky. Big breath in. Round, round, round. Press the hands into the floor. Crescent lunge. Fill your lungs. Water wheel, right arm forward. We flip. Keep moving the arms. Reverse. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Come down to hands and knees. Take the knees nice and wide and come into a child's pose position. So whilst I've been kind of saying in this child's pose, take whatever child's pose feels good for you, I thought it would be worth kind of showing some other variations. So you could have your head kind of resting on your hands or on a fist with the elbows pressing into the floor. You might have your hips up a little bit higher, maybe even the arms in between the space in your legs. That might feel good for you. Otherwise, my old favorite is just forearms to floor and then letting the upper back round, the head relax. We'll take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the weight forward into the hands, tuck your toes, and we'll come into a froggy squat where the weight is really forward, and then you can have a little bit of a play here. So the weight's in the hands, you're pushing through the balls of the feet, and then a little bit of free movement here. You might like to open and close like butterfly wings, or bring the knee kind of more up and down, up to the ceiling, down to the floor, like you're bouncing balls underneath your knees. Circles. Yes. Anything goes. And then opportunity, you can use your no hands to press up to stand. And from here, we'll come into our mountain pose, so the feet hip width or wider if that feels comfy. Arms down by your side. And just checking in with your natural flow of breath for a few rounds of breath. On your next breath in, arms reach up, big breath in. Arms down by your side, breathe out. 2 more times, arms up to inhale. And arms down by your side to breathe out. Last time. Change the breath a little bit. Arms up, inhale. Open your mouth and side out, breathe out. You can poke your tongue out too. Arms reach up, inhale. Open your mouth, side out. Maybe the tongue comes out. Last time. Arms reach up, big breath in. Beautiful. Bring your hands to your hips. Maybe take your feet a little bit wider, and we'll do some kind of pelvic rocking here. So I'm going anti-clockwise first. You can move, it's quite small, or you can move a bit bigger. We'll go 5 times in one direction. I wonder how baby feels as we do this. I feel like it would feel pretty cool. So as you come to finishing your 5th circle, we'll go the other way. Stay with your breath. We'll just do one more in that direction. Alrighty. We stand in mountain pose and just notice what you notice. 3 rounds of breath. Keeping your feet nice and wide. We'll just do some kind of arm circles. So let the arms be quite floppy and almost like you're letting yourself kind of hit your body. So the shoulders really relax, and this might look different for you than it does for me. But just really enjoying this motion, letting the arms sway like leaves or branches of trees in the breeze. For a few more rounds of breath. Breathe nice and deeply for your last breath in. And a full breath out. We'll start to slow that down. And then 3 rounds of breath in mountain pose to notice whatever you notice. All right, we'll take our feet now much wider, so like we're coming into this goddess shape with our knees nice and broad. And then we'll take 3 rounds of breath here. So we'll straighten the legs, arms reach up, inhale. Hands down through center, breathe out. Just doing 3. Beautiful. Take the feet in a little bit more. Arms down by your side, and we'll come into a kind of deep-ish squat. So have your feet kind of, if they're too wide, it will feel a bit uncomfy. And here we'll take a deep squat with some kind of like the arms we did before, but we'll hug ourselves a bit more and we'll look over our shoulder. So we'll just go slowly to begin with. Breathing how it feels comfortable in your body. And then you might like to make this a bit more dynamic. You might choose to really stay with the breath, or you might more focus on just how this feels in the body, ensuring that you keep breathing. Do a few more rounds of breath. The legs may be sore, but just a couple more rounds now. Feet back closer. Mountain pose, 3 breaths. Okay. Our last little challenge for the day, we will come into Another squat. They're so good for us, so important for as our pregnancy evolves, but also labour. But we'll use the wall. So we'll come into a squat, we'll press our butt against the wall, and then you might need to kind of move your feet forward a little bit more. If you've got a slippery mat, please don't be stepping on your mat. And then you can kind of stay up higher, that'll be easier. But an invitation to come down lower, so maybe the hips in line with your knees or just above. And we're really pressing down, grounding down through all four corners of the feet. Hug the hips in towards one another. And then we're going to use our breath, 5 rounds of breath here. Press the lower back into the wall. Use your breath, go inwards. Use your in-breath to cultivate energy. One more round of breath. Okay. Hands against the wall potentially to push yourself up, and we'll just take a little bit of movement through the legs. Nice little bit of a kick. And we'll make our way back down to the ground now. So come back into a seat that feels good for you. That might be on a cushion, might be cross-legged, it might be kneeling. We'll just do the simple breathing with arms we've done a few times in class today. Arms up over the head, breathe in. And they come down by your side to breathe out. 2 more times, just like that. You can close your eyes if it feels good. All right, normal breathing. Arms over the head. Interlace your fingers, turn the palms up, a big stretch. Maybe a yawn, excuse me. Then you can take it over to one side. I'm going left and back through center over to the right. Do this a couple more times, like now you're like a bit more of a flimsy tree trunk swaying in the breeze. Last time. And bring your arms behind you, interlace the fingers, and open your chest. And now there's options today for our glute stretch. So you can either come into an easy seat with your shins, I guess, almost parallel as you can get them. I've got my right in front of my left, just keep note of which leg is in front for you, and then sitting forward. If this doesn't do much for you, then you bend your both knees, take your knees and feet as wide as you need. Back on your hands will be the right ankle just below the left knee. And then to increase the stretch here, so we're trying to feel it in the outer kind of glutes, we can come up a little bit more. So walk the hands more towards your back. You can also move your foot in closer to your body and then shift the weight to the left-hand side a little bit more. So whether you're in the easy seat, Sukhasana, leaning forward, or you're with me doing this, we'll have 3 more rounds of breath. And then we'll release that one off and we'll change sides. So it's easier to set up with your foot further away from your body. Left ankle below the right knee. Then again, maybe hands in closer to your spine, maybe that right foot in closer. Shift the weight to your right side. Or one more thing, you can flex the left foot. Should hopefully feel it. The left outer glutes. You've got 3 more rounds of breath here. Okay, releasing this shape. Almost hitting the floor for our rest. Just before we come to our final resting position, we start with that one-to-one breathing again. Just for a few rounds of breaths, maybe an in and out for a count of 4. Just one more time in and out. Now we'll block the right nostril. We'll breathe in the same way, but now through the left. Keep your inhales and exhales even. You can close your eyes. Breathing through the left nostril kind of does the opposite to the right. It activates the rest and digest response. It helps facilitate softness in your body and activates an inwards focused, kind of feminine energy. A few more rounds through the left. We'll do one more round. And then just taking a beat here. And grabbing perhaps your cushions if you're using them for your final resting positions. This is called flapping fish. So I'm going to have a pillow underneath my head, and then I've got this nice long one for in between my legs. Coming onto my left side. We're not yet in the 3rd trimester, but almost. And they do recommend in the 3rd trimester not to lay on your back. It's your prerogative if you choose. But pay attention to, any feelings of discomfort and moving away from that. But otherwise, we'll make our way onto the left side. And here, you can close down the eyes. And you can stay with your breath if this feels useful. Your breath it's a constant companion. It's an anchor to the here and now. And the beauty of breathing awareness is that it's always there for us. Always there to bring our attention back to the self, bring the mind back home. So you can stay with the breath. If this serves you, using the exhales as an invitation to let the body go. Otherwise, you can let go of the breath. Please feel free to stay here resting for longer. Really, the longer, the kind of better. But if you're ready to up and move on with your morning, your day, or your evening, start to focus on your inhale breaths, deepening your inhale breaths. And as you deepen your breaths, you might like to start doing some movement. And in your own time, in your own way, using the help of the hands to push up into a seat. And always just taking a moment to acknowledge your practice, acknowledge your efforts of coming to the mat, of opening up your phone or whatever device you're using to play this YouTube video. Your efforts to practice, and if you're still with me, your efforts of staying for the duration of class. As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. It's a pleasure. Have a beautiful rest of your day.